Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I was asked an interesting question as someone who wants to get straight to the chase, but this is a very essential question in order to build relationships. Who am I? And not in the existential sense or however you like to call it, but other than me as a petroleum engineer, me as the podcaster, me as the YouTuber, what's my upbringing? Where did I come from? Why did I even start the YouTube channel? Well, on the last question, there's already a YouTube video on that, but I will give you a little bit of background about myself. I was born in India in 1992, November 26, 1992 to be exact, and I was born in Mumbai. When I was 6 months old, my dad got his green card, my mom and I got our green cards, and we immigrated to the United States. Then I moved around quite a bit growing up. I lived in New Jersey, then I lived in Plano, Texas, then I moved to Houston, Texas, then I moved to Kansas for a couple years, and then I moved back to Houston, and we stayed in Houston since 2005. The reason being of moving around so much is my dad had worked as an IT consultant, and his job required him to move around where the projects are. So therefore, I moved around as well. My mom primarily was stay at home and raised me and focused a lot on my growth and development, and she's a wonderful, wonderful mother. In fact, my mother and father were the people who inspired me to pursue math and science. You probably heard that in some of the podcasts that I have been a part of. Well, let's fast forward to my desire for math and science and knowing that I liked it, but not knowing that I wanted to be an engineer. This is what I want to emphasize a little bit more. I'm a product of Women in STEM initiatives. When I was 14, I went to an all-girls engineering camp that was hosted by the University of Houston called Gray Camp. During that time, I learned about what it took to be an engineer, that I can be an engineer, and that there were people who look like me who are engineers. There were people in the oil and gas industry that came and visited us, and since they were the nicest people, I considered petroleum engineering at the back of my mind that I want to be a nice person too. But later on, I learned that there's a social aspect of the energy industry in the sense that you can uplift people's lives, you can lift people out of poverty, you can provide access to energy, and I really appreciated that social aspect, which is why I also wanted to choose petroleum engineering as a major at university. I went to the University of Texas, pursuing my bachelor's in petroleum engineering, graduated in 2015. Then I worked for an independent company for about a year before I got laid off. When I got laid off, I got hired on a month later by a consulting company that worked for the Texas government called Texas Oil and Gas Institute. That was around the time I was inspired to pursue a master's degree while working. So I went to Texas A&M University and got my master's in petroleum engineering while working. Then I moved to Midland in 2018, and I met my wonderful husband at that time. Dated for a couple of years, got married at a well site, which there's a YouTube video on that as well, in 2020. And I started working for another independent oil company back in 2018. Then another thing hit me in the sense that I love education and pursuing education, and I want to develop more skills, especially getting the feedback that I need to develop a better business acumen. So that's why I wanted to pursue the MBA. And I pursued the MBA at the University of Chicago Booth School of Business, starting in April of 2022. Then, I'll be finishing my MBA degree up in June of this year, and I've had a wonderful ride since then. My husband is also pursuing an MBA degree at TCU Neely School of Business and the Energy MBA program. So he's been enjoying that as well. Hopefully that gives you some background about myself. And as usual, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video if you have any feedback. And I hope this gives you some background in that how being a product of a Woman in STEM initiative can really take you places. Thanks so much, guys. Talk to you later.